Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 24. It is day 2. It is June 13th, 2017. Hey guys, as always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, Jedi traders, as we speak, the Jeff Sessions testimony going on here in Washington, not really impacting the market as much as we roll into tomorrow's session, the awaited FOMC announcement on raising rates, which most likely, but it's all about the trajectory from there forward. So markets quiet Monday and pretty much a quiet day today. However, the Dow making a record high. Being that we had no daily trend yesterday, let's go ahead and take a look at the technical momentum for the week. Revisit that at the end, as we'll see. Looking at the big picture over the weekend, yes, contracts rolling over. As you can see, the volume here on the June contract, pretty significant still in the June contract. 1.3 million on the ES, 1.9 on the September. So not all that volume has shifted to the new contract, so a little bit split there. As we could see here on the NQ after that session last week, selling off, NQ gaining a little bit of footing back upside now as the FANG or FAAMG stocks, M for the Microsoft and Netflix, not having as much an impact anymore. But be it as it may, NQ trying to gain a little bit of foothold, but the ES and YM, that's right, still holding at those highs. And so that was our bottom line picture. The NQ seeing if it could test that 50 MA downside, find that support, regain traction above the 10 EMA, which was going to be a significant drive. We'll see how we are doing with the NQ and the ES. If not pulling back, where are we going to go? That's right, revisit, retest those all-time highs. At least on the futures, we're almost there on the YM, but at least the Dow ringing the bell upstairs today. So taking a look at the big picture today, there was the AM and the PM session. Again, no continuous trend, a lot of choppy pullback. YM not as bad, a little bit more controlled upside in the ES, but the NQ still not being able to get a good hold footing. But by the MMLs, the Murray math levels, not a bad chart today to see price action test, go from the highs to the lows and back upside. Call it a range bound session. ES opening up a gap downside as the Dow hits an all-time high and the VIX closing out here at 1042. Again, Sessions testimony and North Korea still in the news. A little bit of mix of everything today. Momentum in the end, upside overnight on the Globex, continuing also in the majority of the candles here on the indices to hold to the upside regardless of the chop. We finished above each prospective day's open. All right, let's jump in right to the charts. Let's go right to the daily gaps. There we are. Price action, actually market profiles we do each day, looking to see, is there an outlier on both sides? Do we have single prints? Any weakness in the profile? A little bit at the top here on the NQ, 70% of today's range sitting upside after that drop down from last week. That's Friday's session, but here we are sitting upside. And the ES, not a bad profile. Again, all sitting within, watching for that ES at some point to come repair the tops over here on the ES. So gaining a little traction. However, we did open up a gap there on the ES day. So nearest open gap 24.2750 with the nearest downside gaps. Big drop ahead if market action is to continue any pullback. But there it is, YM futures almost at the all-time highs up here at 21.301. So keeping in mind those open gaps, first time here, we've got serious open gaps all the way down. But if you go back and look at, let's take a look at the chart on the ES. As you can see, these holes, these gaps in regular trading hours, eventually 100% always are closed, and it's just unfinished business in the market downside. AD lines, not much to speak of, pretty much quiet across the board. So AD lines, advancers and decliners, not showing much momentum throughout the PM session or late AM session. So not much to speak of except a late day push. NQ not being able to hold upside. We'll see the charts here in a moment. So again, moving forward, watching that ES market profile, I recommend checking in on the Shadow Trader. Does some good analysis when it comes to market profile. Again, he uses TPOC, time profile, but anytime market profile, regardless, shows any weakness, single prints or nothing at the top, shows market action eventually will build some value there, as we could see here. And NQ did exactly that. You had a weak low here, and yesterday's market action built some value down below. Same thing here on the ES. All right, taking a look at the big picture, let's just jump right to the three main charts. Nothing really highlighting on the other indices. On the gold, again, a little bit of smooth price action, but indices on the ES, we mentioned a little bit of early morning session, not just being able to get some traction, but finally looking for those highest probability setups. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I'm looking for. Whether it's the long or the short, I'm looking for Heiken Ashi bars, those HA bars, the ones on the right here to be in trend versus having to figure out the candlestick formation. Makes it a lot easier for me to identify trend. I'm in trend, I'm under the HA bars as long as the wick of the candle doesn't take you out. That sometimes is left to your trade management, depending on how far back your stop is or how quickly you move your stop to break even. Either way, looking for those highest probability steps where price action is underneath the 5144 cloud and in sync with the other charts. And so when we take a look at the charts, we look for either everything in the green, which was what we had on the ES in the beginning, right out of the pocket. Market action, again, this is a valid setup. Price action downside, the moving averages are in sync. They're both sloping down. You have a yellow caution here indicating that not all the charts are in sync, but makes for a good setup on the ES downside. Again, a little struggle there at first with the long tails, but you got to wait till the bar closes. As long as you're in trend or at least in decision and you don't counter trend, you stay and remain in the trade. Price action gets another lift, same picture back upside, and here it is, deep pullbacks in the afternoon session. Really nothing much to hold on the ES. All right, NQ full session going to a higher time frame. Again, a 10-tick chart showed a lot of noise, so for the most part, holding on to the 15-tick chart all throughout the session. Quiets down the bars, shows for good clean setups. Again, your best setup of the session right here in the AM session to the downside. Again, not a bad, at least on a 10-7 Flex Renko, not a bad setup from the beginning, but again, long tails and pullback would have taken out a trade management and giving you another opportunity. So it's two setups on the market open. Patience, pullback, and there you go, downside to the MML lows. Nice move. I'll show you that chart here in a moment. Off the MML lows, NQ was able to pick up, giving up some higher highs, higher lows, just barely breaking that trend. And finally at the end here, NQ getting a nice move from the 50% pullback all the way upside. All right, YM in there, again, a little bit, not as much action, but at least on the Dow, hitting, again, those new all-time high. There you go, smooth entry following the pullback on the ES, but support above the cloud. A little bit of pullback here, but for the most part, your 5144 was all in the green. That's your third horizontal bar, including the cloud here. Keeps you in the trend if you're able to hold on deep pullbacks. Otherwise, my preference, there it is, right there. Nice move. Moving average crossovers, got a solid Heiken Ashi bar trend. If you're trading, that's still the early morning session. A long time to sit in a trend for the day on the YM. All right, let's head into the chart, see where we are. I want to jump over to that NQ chart. As we could see, we were talking about retesting that 50 MA, and that's exactly what we did. And that was in yesterday's price action. Today, looking to regain that, still that traction above the 10 EMA, which the NQ got a lot more to travel upside to regain the all-time high in the NQ. Again, a lot of perma bears out there saying this is it, including Mr. Jim Rogers. But hey, market action globally did not sell off. YM and ES still holding up. So By technical momentum, I got to still go with the momentum upside as the NQ has a nice deep pullback, but is regaining some traction. We'll see how long that lasts, and we'll watch price action and gets as it moves back up to the 10 EMA. See if there's some resistance there, including the upper MML levels. All right, I wanted to jump into one more chart here on the low time frame. Here we could see today, I wanted to show you the MMLs. Again, when you get into a range-bound session, it doesn't matter what index or market. Throw up yourself a 5-minute or a 1-minute MML. My preference is the 5-minute. Those are the Murray math levels. Again, a fraction of 8, very similar to the Camarilla pivot study. Again, 50% pullbacks, including Fibonacci retracements. So here's your today's session on the NQ. Price action gets a lift, right, to the MML high. Again, nice move. You got yourself in trend. Again, we mentioned just prior, you had 2 setups here. Again, this is a 15-tick chart. If I go to the 10-tick, you'll see a lot more movement on the candles. But here on the 15-tick chart, maybe instead of jumping in on the trend, you wait for the pullback. Again, you would have had to been a little careful on that solid Heikin Ashi bar right there. That would have identified a price action back in trend. And unfortunately, you might have taken a loss here, but eventually price action did lift to the MML highs. All right, so you're watching price action here. It gets up to the MML highs and comes back down. And you'll notice from MML high to MML low, Murray math levels. And what does it do? Turns right back around and works its way back up. So by the range bound, very nice, sweet, trending move. Now again, the Murray math levels can and will reset intraday depending on the setting you have. 57.42 was the intraday low when the market started, and eventually as market and time moved forward, 57.22.75 ended up being the MML low and stayed there for the remainder of the session. So while at the end of the day this all looks great, the truth was is this had a different picture in the AM session until price action turned around and time moved forward, and as price action moved forward as well and downwards, gave us a new MML low. However, that MML low was down here by the time price action moved down. You got the moving average crossover and the opportunity to get back in, especially on the 534, and you got yourself a move back up. Had you not taken that move and waited till price action broke above the cloud, there it is. Price action breaks above the cloud and the 50% line here at 57.42 of the move down. You got yourself a move up. Questionable here where you kept your stop. Either way, a nice tick run here at the end on the 15 tick. All right, so there's your MMLs. That's how you can use them intraday. Not a core strategy of mine. The core strategy showed up in today's price action where all charts were in sync, gave you an opportunity regardless of the MML levels. Again, here, price action broke underneath the cloud. It was a nice move on the 10.7, actually a little bit longer, pending the candles. And then you had a move here in the afternoon and your final move here towards the end of the session. Let me just jump to the 10.7, and then we could see exactly what that move. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so whether or not you took the first entry underneath the cloud, you had the 534 setup. Not bad. But price action finally had its highest probably set up, which would have been my preference of choice, right there to the downside, and you got yourself some ticks depending on how many contracts you're running. That's up to each individual trader. All right, so where are we headed to tomorrow? Where do we sit technical momentum wise? The ES again, we mentioned in the big picture for the week, we're looking at the ES regaining those all-time highs if we're not pulling back, as we found support yesterday at the 10 exponential moving average. We move up to zone high of the MMLs, regain traction back above the T340. So I got to go with the momentum still to the upside. Everything pending FOMC announcement tomorrow, but we are sitting upstairs. Watch for the pullback if the market decides to pull back. First level will be here around 24.29. Anything upside, we'll be looking all the way upside to at least 45.25, if not higher. NQ, taking a look as we slowly grind back to the upside, regaining some traction after yesterday's session. Back to the upside, holding above, cloud above the T34 moving average. This is a 50-tick chart, so my momentum on the bigger picture down uptrend. And again, like I've said before, if and you're looking to splice in and not wanting to watch, let me get this to a higher time frame. Again, you're not concerned about all the intraday noise. You don't want to avoid that. you look into the higher time frame. Where do I splice into the bigger picture on the lower time frame? Just like you would be watching a 1 minute splicing into a 5 minute, or a 15 minute trying to splice into an hour chart. All right, so that's where we sit. Watch for the resistance here halfway back. Anything upside will run up to 58.59 to start. Any pullback, watch for that 50 MA. And obviously, downside, we lose that. We'll start looking to the 200 period moving average on the NQ. But I got to go. I don't know bias here, but I got to say, since all the markets didn't sell off, I have some faith here that, and again, that's not a strategy. I have some faith that the NQ will hold up here. I'm not saying it will regain its strength all the way upside. Might have been just a chance for the market's bigger players to find a sale and buy it up. All right, last chart here, YM holding at the zone high as we make new highs on the YM, holding above the T34. Any pullback, watch the 50%, 10 EMA, and 60-minute support resistance charts as we sit at the highs up here, the high being 21,328. If we head up any higher, we'll start to look to 21,406. All right, those are our levels. That's where our momentum is currently on the charts. Again, remember, NQ, got to get above that 10 EMA to regain some strength upside. Anything deeper, downside, we'll start looking at those daily MML levels and the 200 MA and any open gap, which is way downside, which I don't think we're going to hit this week. But hey, you never know what will happen in a day. ES for it to continue its maintenance upside, maintain its momentum, retest those all-time highs, and entering those MML zones up here. When again you have new levels upside, you got to go with projection levels, as these will be the first time we'll be seeing those numbers. All right, Jedi traders, that concludes today's insight into the daily trend and technical momentum on the indices and key futures markets as I see them. Please feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com. Right here, where I have plenty of information and pre-market trends, trading session recaps, including my technical momentum for the outlook for the week. And if we scroll down far enough, my 3-part Infinity Futures webinar, check it out on creating a trading plan for the long term as traders get ready to participate in the livetradingchallenge.com. If you didn't get a chance to sign up on Friday, make sure you check it out. Every 2 months they run it, and I'm sure I'll let you know as we get ahead to that moment. All right, you always can feel free to check out my other social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra is one simple strategy: any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me here on Twitter every day, where I'm going ahead and posting my intraday charts, daily insight, or possible setups. I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I'm only looking for the setups on the charts in front of me, and I leave that bias at the door when trading. Before I forget, economic calendar for tomorrow. Missed that? Yep, I mentioned it already, though. FOMC for Wednesday, the forecast, and of course, the press conference. So how do you handle that? Initial reaction, and then you got to wait for the words afterwards. Market moves on the words. A couple red star events in the morning, so a little bit of a busy Wednesday as we roll out the week. Jobless claims towards the end, but all about tomorrow. Jedi traders, anybody who's interested in joining us in our community of like-minded traders as we enter the summer session, feel free to email me, David at Trading Fibs, to view the live charts as they happen in the trading room on any Thursday or Friday combo. If you are interested also in learning more about the Murray levels, again, not my core strategy, but get a lot of questions because you see them not only on the intraday charts, but the longer time frames. Feel free to check out my tutorial here on Murray math levels and Heikin Ashi bars. And hopefully, if you're not trading with the Sierra charts or AT platform by Infinity, you can somehow adapt that to your own charts and create a trading strategy for yourself. Again, for me, it's the core strategies that I talk about each day, holding underneath the Heikin Ashi bars, underneath the cloud in trend, just trying to get a runner. If the runner's not there, it's not that kind of day. Hey, Murray math levels might be the answer, as trade management and the opportunity to remain in the trend, just adding those MML levels can give you some structure to levels type trading if that's what you are looking for. Hey guys, it is go clean up your weeds in your garden day. If that's not exciting enough for you, you can continue watching as the Jeff Sessions testimony is over for today. Until tomorrow, have yourselves a Blue Zone day, wherever you may be. And if you don't know what a Blue Zone is, go ahead and look it up. Easy search. BLUEZONE. Until tomorrow, have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good night. And good trading to you. I'm David from TradingFibs.com.